What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we have 10 things WWE should be embarrassed about. Number 10, lawsuits for concussions. When you step foot inside the squared circle, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Your health will never be the same. Taking bumps almost 300 days a year will do damage to your body. The most dangerous part is your brain. From taking so much pain, brain damage is something you can never ever heal. Currently, WWE is in a lawsuit with 53 former employees who believe their brain damage is WWE's fault. Some names from the 53 wrestlers are Chavo Guerrero, Kamala, and Road Warrior Animal. Another thing to note is that Chavo Guerrero continues to wrestle and takes chair shots nowadays. Personally, I think this lawsuit is complete BS, and these wrestlers are trying to make some money from the WWE. Nevertheless, it is pretty embarrassing this is happening to them, and this could cause others to do the same. It'll end up being even worse if they lose the case to the wrestlers. Number 9, portrayal of women. In 2016, the women of the WWE have been taken more serious, and they even became a main attraction. They main evented Raw 2 weeks ago and have actual storylines. I love the movement because they definitely deserve it, but there was once a time where this was not the case. During the Attitude Era, women were portrayed terribly. WWE wanted to spike ratings, and they had this belief that showing their boobs on TV would be great. It did gain viewers, but was it worth it to tarnish the reputation of the women wrestlers? After the Attitude Era, WWE shifted to the Ruthless Aggression Era, and nothing changed. Sable and Tori Wilson would make out with one another like every week. And in the PG era, the women got 2-minute bathroom break matches. Basically, for the last 20 years, besides Lita and Trish, the women did nothing important. Finally, after so many years, they decided to make a change. Number 8, the Kennel from Hell match. How great does a steel cage inside of a Hell in a Cell match sound? Amazing. But wait, there's more. Let's add vicious dogs that are outside the ring. Dave Meltzer, is that a 5-star match? Seriously, guys, this was actually a match type, which is pretty unbelievable. Then again, it was the Attitude Era, and pretty much anything that was unpredictable could happen. It might have looked good on paper. I mean, I guess kind of to the creative, but that happens a lot. Look at the Asylum match. WWE put Al Snow and Big Boss Man in this match and acted as if the dogs were going to be ferocious. Instead, they were just simply dogs. This is probably the silliest match type of all time. Number 7, the Plane Ride from Hell. The Plane Ride from Hell is one of the most epic airplane WWE related stories if there were many. Although it was super epic, it was one that many within WWE were embarrassed about. In the early 2000s, WWE were in the middle of guys who loved to party and wrestle. A perfect example is a Nature Boy Ric Flair. That was not a gimmick. Back then, you were able to party and drink as much as you wanted and prank many people without receiving backstage heat. The plane ride from Hell was a trip from the UK to America. Every wrestler on that plane partied way too hard. Mr. Perfect had a wrestling match with Brock Lesnar that would actually turn into a shoot. Goldust harassed his ex-wife. Michael Hayes fought JBL because he thought he cut his hair, but it was actually X-Pac. And Ric Flair, he only wore a robe the whole time. Many wrestlers were in a lot of trouble after this incident. Number 6, sexual assault and harassment. Vince McMahon has been sued for almost everything you could possibly think of. He somehow manages to end those lawsuits in a couple of hours because of course he is a multi-millionaire who should be a billionaire. Hey CM Punk, when you're the owner of a huge corporation, people would not expect that the owner would sexually assault his employees. And the same guy has a wife. Vince McMahon actually got sued from Rita Chatterton, who was the first ever girl referee from the WWE. She said she got sexually assaulted in a limousine from Vince McMahon himself. Sable is another one who sued the WWE for $10 million for sexual harassment, and she would settle it in the court. Number 5, censoring the fans. When I or any other fan pay good money to go to a WWE event, we do it because we want to be a part of the show. We want our voices to be heard and our signs to be seen. WWE, on the other hand, doesn't care how much money we spend. Before SmackDown was live, they edited everything. If we booed a face and they wanted that person to go over, they would edit that out and put cheers over it. A fan had a sign saying, "When it rains, it bores." WWE actually edited out the bores part. If we don't agree with the WWE on something, they feel like they have the right to make it seem otherwise on TV. Number 4, the steroid scandal. There was once a time when Vince McMahon only wanted huge wrestlers who were jacked to be wrestling. Guys like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk and AJ Styles would not even be allowed to wrestle, let alone be world champions during this time. Vince McMahon was charged by the US attorney for handing out steroids to his wrestlers. This could have been the end for Vince McMahon and also the WWE itself. Also, the charges stated he hired a doctor to prescribe the steroids. Vince McMahon was in court, and Hulk Hogan literally saved his entire life by denying that he offered them any drugs. It's pretty crazy to imagine if Hulk Hogan never did that. Number 3, the Chris Benoit tribute video. You all should know by now the Chris Benoit incident where he had performed a double homicide suicide with his wife and child. Well, before WWE knew that Chris Benoit had done this, they wanted to honor and respect the life of Chris Benoit with special package videos and superstars talking about how great Chris Benoit was. It was truly one of the saddest moments in WWE history. The very next day, after some investigations, WWE were notified for the act that he had done, and they regretted everything from that whole Monday Night Raw episode. The next night on ECW, Vince McMahon would go on TV and apologize, and also let everyone know he was not aware of the situation. And he ended it by saying that he will never mention Chris Benoit ever again, and he was right about that. Number 2, racism. Although, we're not entirely sure if the WWE are still racist, in the old days, it was very apparent. Greg Valentine was involved in a feud with Junkyard Dog. Valentine would constantly mention how he is black and he should go back to cleaning the floors or polishing shoes, referring to the slave days. There was much more racism in his promos, and you could easily search it up on YouTube. Another time the WWE were racist was when Roddy Piper was in a feud with Bad News Brown. Piper actually painted half of his face black, attempting to taunt Bad News Brown. The worst part is, Piper was a babyface. It makes no sense. Number 1, erasing Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is WWE's greatest creation. He was one of, if not the biggest name in wrestling history. He was the most dominant wrestler during his time, and some people even refer to it as the Hogan era. He saved Vince McMahon from getting arrested, and he practically is the reason WWE gained so much popularity in the first place. But after there was a video that leaked to the world showing him use the N-word, Vince fired him and completely got rid of him from WWE history. There are reports of him possibly coming back for WrestleMania 33, but who knows. As of right now, Vince McMahon has erased his greatest creation. As always, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitter at WWE Pllana. If you want 10% off your next Slam Crate from Loot Crate, use the discount code WWE Pllana. Finally, check out my other channel, Official Life Facts. Take care and spike your hair.
No diggity, darling. I'm not the bad. 1738. No diggity, darling. I like the way you work it. You got to bag it up. No diggity, darling. I'm about to bag.